over and over again. Guilty, guilty, guilty. And as you said, it all took just about 5 hours.
It was something of a social media meltdown over this snowman post on the Coxsackie-Athens Central School District Facebook page. It had to come down after just 15 minutes because of a flood of comments from people viewing it as racist.
Critics have gone so far as to ask Spotify, which streams Rogan's program, to take it off their platform.
We have employees who were saying they wanted to issue paper tickets so that they could ensure that they were legally valid, and their supervisors told them to knowingly continue issuing.
I don't know anything. I don't know what the facts that you're talking about.
Chief Hawkins maintains the shooting was justified and unavoidable, and that no matter what anyone's opinion is on this, including his own, this will be independently investigated. We're right along Broadway, a busy Broadway tonight here in Saratoga Springs, and where we're at is just across the street from the entrance of Congress Park. So I'll step out of the way and we'll show you what's going on here. We're told here that the suspect in this stabbing at the high school was just 14 years old. The lockdown has been lifted, and students were actually dismissed early this afternoon at 1:30 p.m. as a result of the chaos that went on here. So Albany police tell us earlier in the day, right around 11:30 or so, a 14-year-old student sustained injuries to his shoulder and hand during a fight with another student. An Albany High staff member who was serving as a hall monitor suffered a head injury and laceration while trying to break it up. The school says the head injury ended up being a concussion. The school tells us a knife was recovered. Police did remain on scene to make sure that early dismissal was a safe one. The 14-year-old suspect was taken into custody, according to police, and the two victims, that student and staff member, are over at Albany Med tonight. Luckily, police say their injuries are minor.
It was a very isolated incident. It's not random. It was amongst two students who know each other. They were involved in some sort of fight. The one student had a weapon and ended up causing a laceration to that student.
Now, in the wake of what happened here today, the school has announced tonight that they'll be going to what they call distance learning for the high school tomorrow. All the students are expected to be in their virtual Google classrooms in time for first period. We've seen other districts react to violence in a similar way by essentially going remote. Albany High School, after tomorrow, by the way, will be headed into their February break next week. We're live tonight in Albany. I'm JT Fetch, CBS 6 News. As we mentioned earlier, here in Gloversville, the ambulance service of Fulton County has gone dark. It was literally boarded up earlier tonight because of a lack of cash flow. Now, a few minutes ago, we touched on the very real life or death consequences that could potentially come about because of this shutdown. But what about the 60 people who worked here every day? Well, we spoke with some of them earlier tonight, and it was certainly a somber mood as the minutes moved closer and closer to 7 p.m. That was when the ambulance service officially ceased operation. There was a lot of emotion amongst the first responders who tell me they really felt like they were part of a group here. Now they're out of a job, and they're wondering if they'll get the chance to ever work together again. Here's what one EMT had to say about getting blindsided today with the news that this would be his last day on the job here.
We spend our time with these people, and they become like a family. So it's very hard to know that after 7 o'clock tonight, we're going to be walking away from these people. We're not going to be working with them anymore.
Now, these employees did get paid today, but they only got a third of what their usual paycheck would be. I'm told they'll be getting the rest of their pay by next week, but it still leaves them searching for work and leaves them worried that this leaves the community with a serious lack of life-saving services. That is the big worry tonight. And as we mentioned earlier, there is a plan in place to have other towns step up and provide some of the services, but still a lot of questions and a lot of worry here in Fulton County tonight. And of course, we'll continue to stay on top of it in the coming days and weeks. Our Crisis in the Classroom coverage continues tonight with a CBS 6 exclusive. A concerned parent giving us videos of some of the recent fights that have taken place at Heatley High School in Green Island. The increase in violence leading to the school going remote this week and furious parents demanding change. The following videos might be disturbing to some viewers.
It's not easy to watch. Kids going at it in the classrooms and in the hallways of the high school in Green Island. These exclusive videos capture just some of the fighting that's leading to parents to sound the alarm. The uptick in incidents culminating recently in a 17-year-old girl getting charged with the in-school assault of a 16-year-old girl.
Our kids are here for, 6-8 hours a day?
Yep.
And they're under these people's care. And all that's happening now, there's fights all the time now.
Frustrated and fearful parents packed the Heatley School's gym last night for a meeting with administrators. Some threw up their hands and walked out early, saying they were not heard.
You guys are witnesses to what went on in there. We sat and we were talked to for an hour and a half.
One parent also passed out a petition calling for Superintendent Kim Ross to resign, but it's also pushing for a cell phone ban at school.
The Board of Education has asked me to reach out to neighboring districts to see if they have within their code of conduct a cell phone policy that is manageable and sustainable.
We found 2 cell phone policies from nearby schools through just a few minutes of searching. Albany prohibits their use unless for instruction or emergency. The device is confiscated and returned to the student at the end of the day or returned to a parent depending on the situation. Troy's is similar. Green Island's high school remains remote this week and will return to in-person after next week's February break. The hope is then this won't happen again.
Now, Green Island's electronic device policy allows all students to use them in the cafeteria during lunch, and it says use during the school day otherwise may result in it being confiscated. We asked the superintendent for an interview earlier tonight, but we couldn't set it up due to our deadline and meetings she had scheduled.